Hey guys, it's Matt. This video is eventually about shape, which I will call, I don't want a banner ad, so I'll say vaping, the vape of the Nerf, the vape of the vaping, the vape of the Nerf. It's a camp. Of course it is a camp. Choose your side. I knew somebody in Florida who would take care of houses. We used to vacation down in Florida with my dad. Went down a few times to areas like Sanibel and Captiva. He would just take care of houses. Actually, like lived in the garage of some guy's house. He's dead now. He would tell us all about Hollow. He was a huge, basically definitely before the internet, huge researcher of Hollow and had all the evidence in the world. You know my philosophy on this, which I'll evolve into as this video gets going, that the reality will show you whatever camp you choose. The reality will support your position, with whatever research you do, depending on what camp you dig in on. But I just want to do a little bit of sidebar because I came across this Trump stuff, and even I'm going to do a sidebar on top of a sidebar. Even before that, we have a new award, the Bathroom Boy Award. I don't know how this term Bathroom Boy got associated with people that say, Matt, get to it. No, as a commitment to most subscribers, I try to do the opposite. I try to make the videos as long as possible. I've heard stories all over the place. People hauling Five Below items in a big truck across the country. And they're like, Matt, thank you for going longer. I'm hauling Five Below items for hours and hours. And I, put you on. Or people at work doing TPS reports. Or there's a guy on a forklift with his earbuds in. If you've got to get back to the mall to get to your hat menagerie or your house of lids to buy you a new NFL team cap or something, I can't help you. I'm always going to go long. The people that work really hard, and there's still people here that actually have jobs, and they put me on later. They sit back, put the feet up, get a Pabst Blue Ribbon. What are they going to do? Watch Fox News? They want me to go longer, Bathroom Boys. So we have a new award, Bathroom Boys. And I think it originally came from, who knows where I pulled this from, but I mean, I know where I pulled it from, but I don't know how I related it. It's the Yankee Rose, David Lee Roth. All you bathroom boys salute as their flags unfurled, the centerfold. How I related that to people that just want to, I guess they want to get the information here, get over to BitChute, the old man in the chair, then get back in the bathroom. I guess that's what I put together. Either way, it's staying Bathroom Boys. That's the new award. So by 2022, we really should learn our lesson at this point. We should advance as truthers and see that digging into the camp of any camp that this world or this reality puts forth, digging in and choosing a side hard is exactly what the reality wants. We don't know that by now. So yes, I'm going to, if you dig in per the vape of the Nerf, if you dig in on flat turf, that if you dig in, then that's exactly what the reality wants. I'm not saying there is merit to that research. There's merit to globe research. There's merit to hollow research. There's merit to toroidal. No real world could show each side everything it needs to dig into its position. You have to back up and see what the reality itself is doing. And I've presented this general concept before many times. And I want to go a little bit farther. Potentially, these people will get even more pissed off at me. Every single time I present this general concept that, look, the reality is going to show you whatever you kind of want to find out, whatever you research, it's going to give you these artificial breadcrumbs. That proves it's in some sort of construct or matrix. But I'm going to go even farther. I'll take the podium on behalf of the globe people in this presentation. And people are already commenting, I'm not in the globe camp. I'm not in any camp. That's the whole point of the presentation, which eventually I'll tie it into Trump if I ever get to that by the second hour. I'll eventually tie it into Trump and why I chose this as the ultimate camp to pick. I'm not in the globe camp. I appreciate all the proofs that these splat turfers, I'm not being derogatory to these people are pioneers in the truth community. I give them credit. Matt, stop bowing down to the splat turfers. I'm not bowing down to them. Credit where credit's due. All the laser experiments and all the stuff they've done and talking to pilots. Pilot, you don't push the stick down every 10 seconds, do you? No. Well, that proves it. All the proofs. I appreciate all they've done, but they've dug in. So when I say there's merit to all sides, because that's the construct of this reality, it's some sort of a matrix. No real world could show all the sides what it needs to dig in and keep digging in and never change their position. No real world could do that. So I'll take the podium on the side of the globe in this example. People are already commenting, no, I'm not a glober, but I'm going to do it because here's why. Whenever I've presented this general concept in the past, there's a comment that will come back every single time and say, Matt, there's no evidence whatsoever that it's a globe. No evidence, they say. You've got to be kidding me. And just based on what I just said, the hardcore splat, pause, turf researchers, they'll already be commenting, Matt's a glober. Matt, let's get this information over to the trolls. Matt, they'll ignore everything I just said 4 minutes ago, saying, no, it's everything all at once. Isn't that a movie titled that? Everything Everywhere, Every Shape Everywhere All at Once. It's everything everywhere all at once, with each side getting the information it needs to support its own. They'll ignore what I just said 4 minutes ago and just be like latching, oh, Matt's a glober. It's unbelievable, but people are so dug in. And there we go, finally, why I thought, what's the ultimate camp of all time right now? The Trump supporters. So we need to go all the way back to the basics, all the way back to first grade to see how the reality does business, and then evolve that into the vape of the nerf. Bathroom boys, let me take even more time and tell a sidebar story about where I was in 2016 with this Trump-Hillary election and the process I went through. I was not where I am today in 2016. People expect that I was born out of the womb with full knowledge of truth and to be able to see through. I said for many years after 2001, I was a child of the Matrix. Believed every bit of the stories that were on Fox News about men dragging dialysis over mountains in Tora Bora and all that stuff. So 2016, look, did I believe politics was completely legitimate? No. But I was very honest in whatever channel I had. There's that 1%, and I just was honest with people. I said, look, this is probably a big charade, but you know what? Let's just know for sure. I think I started using the term, reality can't hide from us any longer. I'm going to go vote for Trump. I told people, whatever that means, I did go out and vote for Trump in 2016. That doesn't mean I completely believed in the political system and Matt was completely fooled. I wasn't the person I am now. But I said, let's just whatever. Let's hope that this Trump gets in and let's just see what happens. Either way, whether Hillary gets in or Trump, I've said many times on whatever channel I had, reality can't hide any longer. So we know the story, but I just want to tell a story about how quickly I completely went to 100% abandonment in politics versus the people that are still holding on today, which is literally like a form of psychosis. So, okay, Trump goes in. I'm not down at the inauguration trying to stand outside for tickets, but I'm watching the inauguration, and the first day he starts praising all the Democrats. And we'd like to thank Chuck Schumer for. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? Then all this draining of the swamp, if anything were real, he would have run right up to the West Wing and start making all these changes and cutting all these programs and putting all these people out on the street. Nothing happened. Like nothing happened. So back in 2016, people way more advanced than me that were commenting on my channel, they gave it to me, and I deserve to take it. They gave it to me before. They said, Matt, you know, you're holding on to this one little percent and I said, no, I need to let this play out. Reality can't hide anymore. I need to go from 99% to 100%. Like, Matt, it is 100%. It's like, there is no hope that a certain candidate is going to be legitimate. These people were telling me the way things were. Don't hold on to any hope at all. And I was like, well, it's not really hope. I need to see it play out. They're like, you're wasting your time. Well, all these people were right. And as we know now, I mean, the fraudulent nature of the puppets that are put up, it could go back to, dates I can't say for certain issues and problems. It could go back 1,000 years. So, yeah, but I wasn't where I was today. But the point is, okay, even like after a week of he gets in office, nothing happens. No programs are cut. 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month. Nothing's happening. No draining of the swamp. Then bullshit BS scenarios regarding Syria and all. I mean, very quickly, anybody that was even holding out a sliver of hope that there would be some sort of changes, it was all abandoned. We went to 100% and the cement hardened. Okay. Now, I don't expect everybody to be in to see the things we see, but it is to be going to Trump rallies today is some form of psychosis. I mean, literally, the man promised the world, drain the swamp. I'm not going to say anything else. And every offshoot associated with drain the swamp. He got in, he was there for 4 years. And you know what happened in terms of all that restoration of liberty and nothing. Absolutely nothing happened. Now, I don't know what a big-time Trump supporter would say happened. And then now there's January 6th investigation still going on. An article saying, well, Trump, he's real close to coming clean and saying he's going to run again. And even if he's there was one article that said, even if he's thrown in jail because of January 6th issues, and that, the storming of the Capitol, that nonsense. Even if he's in jail, he could still be president. There's nothing that says someone in jail can't if he's not formally impeached. So, okay, well, it's all a sideshow and a charade at this point. But think of the psychosis. To go out now in a Trump rally when literally nothing happened. QAnon people, weeks after it started, I forget that one radio personality's name, these conservative talk show hosts, said freedom was coming in just a matter of weeks. Lionel Nation it was. Freedom's coming for all of us. Just hold on for a few more weeks. Like years later, what's happened? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. So they go out to these Trump rallies and it's like, well, what the trajectory of government didn't change, more debt, that freedoms just went down and down and down. The whole C thing started during his presidency. And they'll just it's a psychosis. They'll blame Democrats. It's just in complete mind control. So in terms of what I eventually, sorry, bathroom boys, what I eventually want to talk about here, I thought, what is the biggest camp of all time? At this moment in history, it's Trump. And using just that one example, and the thousands of others we have, if you step back a little bit, would you say, does the reality itself, let's say there is this thing that Matt talks about called the screen, and something much larger than just the minions plotting and planning in smoking rooms. Let's just say you believe that exists, or humor me, whatever that means. Do you believe it wants people digging into their little camps and hating the other side and hating people that aren't in their camps? Or would you think the reality doesn't want people joining camps? Well, obviously, it wants people in as many camps as possible. Even like a national pride, I'm not talking about that kind of pride, parade for if Ukrainian heritage or, the Puerto Rican Day parade or whatever. Even, all of that is camps. All the racial issues today is camps. All the reality cares about is having people dig into their camp. Doesn't care about justice or exposing past injustices. It doesn't care about any of that. It knows the reality itself, not Nilk reality, knows the more people get entrenched in their little camp, the more they will fight with the other side. It is absolute, the first page of Not Nilk Reality Playbook. It is blocking and tackling. Now, why would digging in somebody, well, let me just change up the way I'm going to present this. So somebody that's a 10-year splat, pause, turf researcher regarding the vape of the nerf, they would say, well, Matt, I agree with you that the reality itself wants all people in these camps and fighting with the opposing sides. But what I research, mine's different. Oh, sure. Yours is different. Yeah, the light beer from Miller tastes great over here, less filling over here, ball, sphere, globe over here. No, yours is different. Okay, sure it is. Like it's not the most obvious thing in the entire world that the role of this Mark Sargent is to make your community look bad. I mean, is there a first grader, anybody in the back of the AM classroom, spitballers, is there anybody in this classroom that can't see that the obvious role of this Mark Sargent is to make your group look bad? Well, that's it, Matt. If then that proves we're right. They have to put people out there to make us look bad. But if that's the case, then why are you still using the terminology that these people that are put out there to make you look bad are using? Why would you why would you use the word flat with whatever? Why would you keep using that terminology when the entire world is programmed to think for 40 or 50 years, the entire world is programmed to think that that is the most lunatic position of all time. This is another issue I have with the splat, pause, turf researchers. They will still use the words, just like the t-shirt that Mark's wearing, flat. I mean, so you want to use the word that will immediately sink your ship in terms of anybody you'll ever talk to for the rest of your life. Why not? I've said this years ago, and they still don't change their approach. It would be, what you would do is obvious. You would just say, look, person on the park bench, or my brother or cousin from another mother, or somebody at the Thanksgiving table. You'd say, you know what? NASA's been lying to us about. That's all you would do. You would go into the NASA lies. You wouldn't lead with something that would turn off 99 point whatever percent to think you're immediately classify you as a lunatic, yet they still use the terminology. It is absolutely unbelievable to me. I have to say it one more time, and even then, people that want to believe certain things or dig into their certain camps, they still won't give me a fair chance. So it doesn't matter if I say it one more time, but I will. So if somebody, yes, in the back of the classroom, well, what do you believe the shape is, Matt? I don't believe there is one. Okay, let me be crystal clear one last time. This is a reality generation machine. It's a conspiracy generation machine. It does things that inexplicably that can't possibly be explained. It shows anybody that researches different topics exactly what they want to find. It's all things at once in some way. Explain that. I can't obviously explain that. I don't know what you would find if you flew up there like Superman and looked back. I don't know. Okay? I don't maybe it would show whatever you expect to find if you were able to fly. If 4 different Supermans flew up there, maybe they would see 4 different things. Who knows? But I'm a big thinker. People here are big thinkers. We don't dig into camps. We don't he's like Matt, but listen to Matt talk about the globe. We don't do that. You want to do that? This isn't the channel for you. You may disagree. I may disagree with you. Fine. We'll work our differences out over time. We're open-minded. No, we don't dig into camps. We see that's exactly what, quote, the reality wants us to do. Maybe one reason I show you my subscriber numbers from Google as they come in, 350 subscribers in a month, 400 in a month, and that's new. That doesn't show the ones I've lost. Maybe it's not only YouTube or putting me in a box, never letting any of my presentations get out to others other than people like you that already know my presentations. Maybe it's the fact that I've made so many enemies inside the truth community. Because big thinkers will eventually make these enemies. There's certain things where people, just like this, people are afraid to go in the truth community. I mean, never, ever in the truth community ever say George Clooney's wife, whatever her name is, or Iman, David Bowie's wife, never, ever, ever suggest that, that is a woman. Never go there, man. It's truth or so. You're done as a truther. If this trans Paco Taco army will be on you so fast, and you just know people don't go there. Even if some truther thinks George Clooney's wife's the most beautiful woman in the world, you just don't go there, man. If you want to keep your channel. Or, well, Matt, you got 80-some thousand. No, you make it seem like you're kept in a box. You got 1,000. Oh, yeah, that's so much after 12 plus years. Yeah, that's so much. Close to approaching probably 2,000 truth videos over 12 plus years. Completely inexplicable how I could get to 80,000. Yeah, where you have Rings of Power movie reviewers that are going 10,000 every 2 weeks. That are just doing how horrible Rings of Power is. They shoot like nothing up to 350,000, 400,000 subscribers. Critical Drinker goes to 1.2 million subscribers in a year and a half. No, it's 2,000 videos. Oh gosh, Matt, you must be being promoted to get to 80-some thousand. I could throw leaflets out the side of my car with just the name of the channel, and I probably would be able to get 20,000 after 12 plus years. I'm saying if you're not afraid to talk about certain subjects, you'll be abandoned by a whole group that'll really dig into their little camp. If I said many of the they put up with me saying Paco Paco Taco Army, but they're saying, Matt, if you were to suggest too many times in your video that someone like Jennifer Aniston is a real pause woman, then I'd have to leave you. And a lot of people have left for that reason. And it's going to be the same here. Those that are still, not too many people at this channel are really dug into vape of the turf. Those people have left me a long time ago. They want to just dig in more. But let's just do it right now. I'm tired of the comments that say, Matt, thank you for giving props to all the proofs we've done on the splat turf side, but there's no evidence whatsoever of a sphere or globe. I mean, just zero. Every single cosmology professor and astronomy professor at every single college around the world, hundreds of thousands, they have nothing. They're just all completely fooled. And yes, I know how easily scientists or astronomers can be fooled, how the masses can be fooled, and Richard Feynman and how I've been getting on him recently. But here's the point. They're not just completely delusional, they're fooled, but they're fooled based on the evidence that the reality is returning to them. They still could be fooled, but don't say there's no evidence. All right, let's just get it out of the way now. Don't finish this presentation. You take what I've done so far, Matt, as a globe presenter, and take this right to the trolls right now so they can start, the people that are just fixated on me can start making more videos. The YouTube site, I'm not recommending it, is WorldCam. Everything's moving, the data's moving. This is just a still image. The asteroid Apophis, if I'm saying that right, live Apophis asteroid near Earth countdown. The days, 2,369 days, hours, and minutes until it has its closest approach to Earth. Matt, I've been with you a long time. Please tell me you're not using this as proof for if you're temporarily taking the position at the podium over here for sphere and globe proof. You're not leading with this. No, I'm not leading with this. I think this is an absolute joke. But, I mean, in terms of, is there any way that that Bruce Willis scenario is gonna play out? And it's like, if I go up there, I'm gonna need to take my own team. And no, I don't think there's any way that will ever happen. I have zero fear. All this stuff they tried to drum us up with 7 years ago or so, 6, 7, 8 years ago, Planet X, and you remember all that stuff? Come on, sir. What a joke. I don't believe anybody can get into a tuna fish can and go up and go anywhere. I don't believe no probe can land on, it's not what they say. The planet Mars is not what Elon Musk sent for men, what he presents. It's not that. There's no Viking 1 and 2 in the 70s that landed on it. You know my position on this. However, because comets exist, this is a real problem for certain types of researchers. We'll explain Halley's Comet that comes back every 70 some years. And if Halley's Comet comes back 70 some years, can't there be a gigantic rock that's going to pass by too? And look, again, don't forget where I'm coming from. Matrix, reality generation machine, conspiracy generation machine. Maybe there is, through its construct, there's a rock that scientists can really focus in on even with a telescope someday. I don't care. It's all a false presentation to me, and I'm not going to try to figure it out for the rest of my life because I don't think it can be explained. It's not a cop-out. The point is to separate yourself from it and remove the fear. Drop your baggage off here. If a comet can come back, Halley's Comet, then there can be a rock, I guess. But then, Matt, that means by definition it must come from deep space. And space is what Carl Sagan says. It doesn't mean that at all. Doesn't mean that at all. When it looks like when you put your 3D glasses on in the 50s, you're on the red one side of your glasses and the blue, and a rock seems like it's coming at you from the movie screen. Is there a rock coming at you? And it doesn't mean that at all. Even though scientists might actually train their damn telescopes on something that they call Apophis. I don't know, but I'm not worried about it. I think once you get out there, It's all a construct to me. I don't believe what we're told about it. But I can't completely discount there's not something going to pass by, because we know comets come and go. And the how they're predicted to the day or to the minute, how they're predicted with such precise math, how the entire cosmology of the universe or the solar system is predicted with such perfect math, guys, in terms of taking the other side of the podium against the splat pause turfers, that is the math itself, and the perfection of the math is tremendous evidence for their side. Not from my perspective. A construct or a matrix will give you its tremendous perfection of math. A matrix will give you its endless synchronicities and coincidences, and the gematria will keep popping up if it's some sort of a construct. But if you're digging in on the splat turf side, you're not really giving me too much credence in terms of my proposition that it's a matrix of some kind. You're dug in on splat turf. You think everything's real. Or why would you care so much about shape? How am I doing, bathroom boys? Let's say 25 some minutes. You got to get out to your mall. The Lids is opening. The new Trevor Lawrence gear is coming in at Rally House. You got to go get your new Trevor Lawrence gear. The first person that ever quarterbacked in the NFL. You're not sure which side of the ball he's really on. What really drives me crazy in our group is the inconsistency I witness at times, where somebody can be a hardcore splat turf researcher, but then say, yeah, Matt, I believe this is a matrix of some kind or a construct. And I understand that since science can't tell you anything at all about what's going on in the very large, they can't tell you anything of much certainty about the very small. What exactly is an atom? They don't know, and they just try to look for smaller and smaller particles. All they understand is the middle. That gives this away. It's some sort of illusion or Maya or dream, and they'll go there, but then they're still hardcore splat turf researchers. Well, you can't have it both ways. You just can't have it both ways. And there is probably, I've never come across one, but there probably people are Mandela affected and still are coming or still in the splat turf camp, which is just mind-boggling to me. So you see reality change in front of your very eyes, whether it's something large or as trivial as a movie line, but yet the Earth is still this. Well, that they are completely inconsistent. You cannot hold those two viewpoints at the same time. The picture I put up here, the thumbnail of Halley's Comet, and at first, the notion of a comet does seem very problematic to somebody in that camp of flat. I mean, doesn't that prove then that this Halley's Comet goes out into the universe, and it's shown here as a rock, and it trails as it gets close to the sun, it trails ice crystals off, and no, it doesn't prove anything. And I'm not taking any side here. I'm just saying the fact that there's something in the sky with a long trail or streak, that doesn't mean it's a rock. It could be Tinkerbell. It could be anything. It doesn't mean anything, the fact that I can look up in the sky and see something with a long trail. That doesn't mean I have to prescribe what NASA says it is. However, in general, how the math of these scientists and astronomers can predict so perfectly these cosmological events. Don't say that there's no evidence on that model of the universe. The math itself is tremendous evidence. And someone's saying, well, Matt, it's been coming and going for how many centuries? They know when it's going to come and go. Fine, I'll give you that. But what about the predictive modeling on eclipses, knowing when the next eclipse is going to happen? That's not something that can be predicted based on past events. The math itself, to me, is all from the matrix. That doesn't make anything more real, but the math in and of itself and its perfect predictive nature of where they know exactly where this Jupiter moon is going to be. It doesn't matter what you believe that moon is, or if the HAL 9000 could land on it or not. It doesn't matter. The predictive nature, they know where the Jupiter moon is going to be exactly. Don't say there's no evidence on the other side. The perfection of the math is tremendous evidence on their side To deny that is to have your head up your ass. I'm not playing that side. I'm trying to be objective on all sides. One of the main ways astronomers or scientists or astrophysicists or whatever it may be are fooled, or maybe the main way they're fooled, is clearly their over-reliance on the math. The math will tell you what reality is. And I would come along and say, well, the math is evidence on your side of the podium. It's not certainly evidence on the splat side. It is a feather in your cap, but it's an over-reliance on the math. Okay, if we're in a matrix or a construct or a PS3 or a PS5 a video game or a Maya or a dream or illusion, well, it could produce the math. So what if the math being perfect is a feather in your cap? It's not something that's going to help podium to podium debate with Billy Madison, the splat turfers. They're not going to like that, but it doesn't prove everything in and of itself. Where the scientists, of course, I was going to say, and the Neil of the grass-fed are over-reliant. He doesn't even know how to. He can't even add, probably, like me. He's just a mouthpiece. He's no brilliant astrophysicist, just like Pikachu. Michio, they're mouthpieces. Well, Pikachu probably is a physicist, but Neil of the grass, I don't know how much more I can say. Bison, he's a mouthpiece. He probably can't even turn a calculator on. So the fact that comets can be predicted down to the minute, and the math shows that when this rock or Apophis is going to fly by, or predict the next 5 or 10 eclipses out. I don't know how many eclipses they can predict in the future. Even predicting 1 to the second is pretty amazing. The math all works from their perspective. Okay, does that mean their cosmology is correct? No, of course not. A matrix could deliver whatever. Just being fair, it's evidence on their side, not your side. It's problematic from your side. But I'm saying it's problematic if you dig in. It's not a problem from my side. A matrix can deliver whatever math it wants. A matrix could start showing us Tinkerbell every time there's a harvest moon, whatever that is. I'm going to do a video on this. There's like 40,000 names of all the different types of moons. That just didn't exist in my past. There's a reason for why the creeps are interested in that, naming all these different moons. But the ones we've heard of, like a harvest moon, a matrix could show Tinkerbell flying around on a broom. What is it? Harry Potter's Nimbus 2000 every harvest moon. Nothing would surprise me anymore. I go, oh, look, there's Tinkerbell. That's a nice new change in reality. The Mandela effect, that people wouldn't be that ruffled, their feathers wouldn't be that ruffled by that. That doesn't, it doesn't prove anything. The stranger things get, the more synchronicities and strange coincidences and things that don't add up. That, to me, is evidence for Matrix. I'm not going to dig in on any side to say this is real. This shape is what it is. No, this shape is what it is. No, it's less filling. No, it tastes great. If you back up far enough, it's not even beer. All right, Matt, your position's pretty clear. Get to more globe proofs if there are any. From this movie, Matt, repeating a thing don't improve it none. I hear you. I better move on. Inman, WP Inman. Can you clear a field? I can clear a field. That's where I got that from. Now, I know the Amish do it, but that's where I got it from. I didn't know nothing about clearing fields until I saw this movie. Imagine the type of women they had up there in the 1800s on Cold Mountain. And then just out of the blue, Nicole Kidman from the big city shows up. Could you imagine what she would seem like in comparison to the women on Cold Mountain? Have you ever seen old Time magazine articles of older Russian women like sitting around on the benches in Red Square in the 70s? That's what they had up in Cold Mountain. Of course he's going to clear fields. He's not going to be honest with her. He'd clear fields for decades for a chance at her compared to what they got up there on Cold Mountain. Here's a decent proof in their favor. Why ignore the obvious? Well, first off, I have to apologize again. It's nothing that can be landed on when the old legend and lore says the moon is made of cheese. You know that old legend, or that's something that is artificially carried through time as well, like Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. The moon is made of cheese. Everybody's heard that. Everybody's heard that for a reason. It's a truth drop. Doesn't mean the moon is really provolone. It just means it's not what you think it is. That's why it's artificially carried through time. But when you see the moon lit up, it's a crescent moon or a half moon, kind of where the sun just was or I saw the moon yesterday or 2 days ago, during the day, the side that's lit up is where the sun is. I'm more apt to believe it produces its own light. Again, Matt, stop apologizing. Just continue. Okay, I'm sorry. But this is, you can't say there's no proof. It does appear that the side that's lit up is just where the sun was. You're just going to ignore that? Although in a matrix, I'm a matrix person, there's glitches. You have, I'm going to butcher the word, but stellion or whatever, that there's a phenomenon during a not a solar eclipse, a lunar eclipse, where the sun, Greg went out and filmed it or saw it, the sun is going down behind you, but the moon is lit up on the wrong side. Stellion or whatever phenomenon during a lunar eclipse. And Greg he showed me a video. There's somebody out there, just like normies that don't investigate the stuff we do, don't ever think outside of the reality that's presented by their evening news. The guys out there are like, this doesn't make any sense. This side of the moon is the wrong side's lit up. How's that possible when the sun just came up or went down behind me? It's they of course have an explanation. Well, the Earth's atmosphere takes the light and sucks it through the bottom. The wrong side of the moon is lit up in a matrix glitch called stellion. I don't know, Selielion. You could something phenomenon associated with the lunar eclipse. The explanation to me is BS, but that's a matrix glitch. But in terms of what side of the moon is lit up in a crescent or a half moon, of course, that is evidence on the sphere or globe side. Okay, guys, this is the big one. I don't see any way around this argument. Most of the groups that dig in on shape, they ignore this like it doesn't exist because it upsets their position that they've dug into. Most of the truth community, we all are biased, okay? 100% of our community is biased. I believe my bias is at an absolute minimum, but we all carry it. Most of our community carries tremendous bias where they won't even look at the other side. Or you get a comment, Matt, there's no proof whatsoever on the globe side. Okay, this is irrefutable, okay? I'm not rooting for NASA. I'm just keeping it real. I can't pretend this doesn't exist because I want to dig into my little camp. That's not the way we should look at reality. These are lessons I'm trying to put out to the AM classroom. I know the graphic stinks. Don't worry about it. Okay. Venus, even in the Bible, the morning star, the evening star. Now, what this means is it can only be seen for a short period of time in the evening as the sun's setting. You can't go out at midnight or 1 a.m. and see Venus. You can only see it for a short period of time in the morning. And it's the angles of it. It's not just because the sun is going to rise and you see nothing. That proves it on the evening side. You can only see it at twilight. You can't go out at 2 a.m. and see Venus. Now, I don't see how there's any possible way this phenomenon, we're only seeing Venus for a short period of time at sunrise or at sunset, how this possibly could be explained away on the splat turf side. On the other side of the globe side, the math of this and the models are perfect. Absolutely perfect. And easy to understand how this is possible if you use the concentric rings. In terms of, the ecliptic, how all these, quote, planets are going around on the same level plane, that's impossible to me. I don't buy that. I'm just saying you can't ignore this. If you're the splat turfers, they make these models of things going around. They do these little loop-de-loops. They just, because they have to do the little cartoon loop-de-loops to make it work. Where on the Pikachu side, their models are perfect. Their models are mathematically perfect. And it's not just Venus and the perspective from Earth. It's the same thing with other bodies and why certain moons of Jupiter can be seen. You can see moons of Jupiter if you have like a $6,000 telescope in your backyard. The models and the math, it's perfect to what Pikachu and Neil presents. I'm not rooting for them, but I'm not going to ignore it like it doesn't exist. Which brings us back to camps. Back up far enough and look down on reality itself. Does reality want you digging into a certain shape and then you will fight and try to present that camp to. Of course, that's what the distraction reality wants. That camp of examining shape and then digging in is no more just than this Trump rally we're looking at, or digging into a liberal that believes they're a good Democrat. There is no difference if you dig in too hard. If you back up far enough, the whole reality breaks down across the board. It just, endless synchronicities, ridiculous gematria pops up all the time, coincidences, things that don't make sense, reality breakdowns, showing each group that investigates different things what they want to find, tens of thousands of UFO abductees and researchers, all with completely credible evidence of what happened to them. But people like John Keel say this is some sort of a symptom of reality itself. Nobody was ever taken into a spaceship. It just breaks across the board. If you follow the river far and far up into the mountains, you can't find the source. It's like the end of the 13th floor of the movie. It all starts to break down. If you dig into your camp in terms of shape, it's the same thing. You're doing exactly what it wants. Your pursuit is no more just than anybody else's if you dig in too hard. That's how reality plays its greatest trick of distraction on all of us. I'm going to give a ridiculous example. There are limits on what it can pull off, but I have to present a ridiculous example to get the point across. Let's say, for whatever reason, I believe, here's an apple, okay? The skin of an apple, I'm convinced that it's the same skin that's on the back of a certain iguana in the Galapagos, the one in Master, Beta, and Commander, where the thing says, they don't swim, this one does. Lawyers don't surf, this one does. It's an apple, I'm convinced, is the same skin as what's on the iguana's back of the Galapagos. So I know this is ridiculous. I start investigating it. Somehow the reality is going to start feeding me things of what I expect to find, or helping support my position. And I know this is ridiculous. For example, if there's limits to what reality will give us in this regard. If I have a theory that this anthracite coal piece is really a cotton ball, I'm not going to get very far. Okay, it's not going to feed me reality tidbits and breadcrumbs showing me that this anthracite coal piece is really a cotton ball. Okay, there are limits. It's just a ridiculous example to make a point. But in this point, as I start believing in it and looking into it, I'm going to find things showing this apple skin is really the same as what's on the back of this Galapagos iguana. And I'll never, as I'm doing this research, I will never stop to think, is this evidence being presented to me real, quote real? I will never, ever go there that, wait a second, this could be how the reality itself does business, or a symptom of reality itself. I'll never put that on the table. I'll never put that between my reality bookends. If I get a piece of evidence, that piece of evidence, it must be real. I have to examine it like Professor Feynman. If it disagrees with experiment, it's wrong. I cannot, 99 point whatever percent will never be able to say, wait a second, is this what reality itself is doing? That's where I am. Talking about the creeps, they know this. They know a lot of things that we don't know. This is something that they want to keep most hidden. So they will actually, for those that start investigating that this world is not what NASA says, people start investigating and doing their experiments. And this is all natural, doing laser tests across lakes. And it's all, it's experimentation and questioning things that, your Aunt Ginny and the guy down the cul-de-sac and our friends don't do. So I appreciate anybody, but then the reality, the creeps, they're not stupid. They will actually give you things to latch on to, so you further entrench in your camp. You don't think the creeps have supported the turf movement, or given things to them so they dig in harder? Of course they have. We're not first grade anymore here, okay? We've been doing this a long time. If you don't like what you're hearing, you just want to take your ball and I don't want to do earmuffs. I don't want to hear what Matt says because it ruins my truth or worldview. So be it. I guess I'll be doing something when Google sends me the channel results and it says zero 0, I'll be sure on the strength. 0 new subscribers. Okay, now I'm doing something, because for what anybody new I'm getting, I'm losing good. I'm losing all the truthers that just want to dig in and don't, and this is my belief, and I don't want to hear what Matt has to say, because that's what most people do in the truth community still. We ain't doing first grade truth stuff anymore here. We have to be open-minded and change our opinion. And if that makes, more enemies for me on all sides, then so be it. This also absolutely directly relates to mistakes on purpose. Okay, they monitor everything in real time. They see thumbs up, thumbs down. They see comments. They see the way the things are going. Oh, this is being noticed here. This is being noticed there. This community is noticing this on the ISS. So then they'll feed more breadcrumbs. They'll throw lighter fluid on the fire to get people more entrenched in all the different areas of truth pursuit. Of course, this is one of the main ways they've used and manipulated us. So it gets back to mistakes on purpose. Those that are people that are investigating the ISS, of course, they're going to show you people flying by on a wire or somebody grabbing an object that's really not there. And the truth community believes, oh, they just made a mistake. And I'm going to do it one more time, right? We caught them. Aren't we so smart? Oh yeah, the super evil geniuses with $100 billion budgets, they have no ability to proof their own stuff that they put out. So we caught the guy flying by on the wire. Same with a lot of the Bang events, the segment of truth that I came out of. A lot of them were meant to look ridiculous. They didn't make no mistake. They were meant to look absurd, to pull more of us in. And then we take it too far. So now it's just like to the part of truth that I grew up, the Bang events or things associated with schools, it's the same as the trans Paco Taco Paco Paco army. If you say one thing that this event I think I saw in the news today is actually real, oh, they come at you with ire. And oh, God forbid, years ago, Matt said this event in North Philly looks real. Oh my God, it was the biggest sin of all time to say one event could possibly be real. Like there would be no such possibility for copycat. With 300 to 500 million guns in the United States, there'd be no possibility anybody just went crazy and did this or that, or anybody got angry. It all, according to the hardcore Gestapo, it has to all be fake. You see how that's taking it too far? The ire they came at me 3 years ago or so when I said this event in Philadelphia. Matt, didn't you see how they put the blood all over the helicopter picked up, they went into a police car and they poured, it was ketchup blood. They poured it all over their hands. You didn't see that, Matt? Right back at you. You think they're that stupid? You think they're that stupid where the news chopper, who does the news chopper work for? You? No, it works for them. And then, they're not the police officer. They're not going to be able to do this blood thing in the car. They have to do it out in the open under the chopper. And then the truth community was like, Matt, we caught him. I can't believe you thought that were. No, I saw the obvious manipulation. We were being led down this path on purpose. We have to get a friggin' clue. I know in a lot of the back of the classrooms, like, well, why would they call attention to it with mistakes on purpose? Look, this video is already way too far off where it should be. They have the reasons. They're playing 3-dimensional chess or 500-dimensional chess, where even most of us in this community are playing checkers. They have the reasons. They're evil geniuses. We just have to make sure we don't fall for the most obvious of tricks and manipulation, which we have for the last 10 years for the most part.